Shalom, shalom, and welcome to Mikdash Magazing podcast. I'm so excited today because my very dear friend Gila Slonim from Israel is here to talk to you about her Healing Crystals course. Welcome, Gila, to Mikdash Magazine podcast.
Thank you for such a beautiful warm welcome. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
I'm so glad to have you. I'm excited about your Healing Crystals course in general, but also because for the first time I'm a member of the course, which is starting very soon. Very, very soon. Tell us more about it, please.
Well, I'm really happy. I'm delighted, thrilled actually, that you're going to be participating because I've been watching, your interest in the crystals all along the way has been terrific. And I'll tell you, why I started teaching this, because crystals are amazing, and I feel that they're actually a gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem has given us an amazing gift of beautiful crystals. Sorry, I have actually a box here. If you can see some of these. Right, I love to show some crystals because, okay, maybe that one. Oh,
just so beautiful.
Nachon, it's lovely. So these are really a gift from Hashem, and I have a word for them, or two words, or three even. I call them trufot, medications of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem's medications, God's medications.
I just want to tell our listeners, HaKadosh Baruch Hu means the Holy One, blessed be He.
Right. And so these crystals in general actually have healing power. Now, I know people often say, like, what are you talking about? We don't know anything about it. And the truth is that I myself felt that way in the beginning. I was like concerned, crystals, is it Jewish? Is it kosher, so to speak, etc. And I really thought it wasn't, and I've got a whole how I got involved. But I went to study the crystals just because it was something that interested me. And the truth is, I knew nothing about them. So, Lily, you have, like you said before, you mentioned that you found out about crystals. You've been to webinars that I've done. So you've got a little bit of a background on crystals. When I went to start, I knew nothing. I really knew nothing. But the first thing I had to know was that I was studying from somebody that was from a Jewish perspective, was going to be teaching me what the Torah thought about crystals. So when I went into this woman's home, actually, and she had a big picture of the Lubavitcher Rebbe there, and we sat studying under Lubavitcher Rebbe's eyes, and she told us she actually received a bracha, a blessing from the Rebbe, that she should work with the crystals and she should do this type of work. Now, when I say, what is this type of work? We actually do healing and assessment using crystals. Means that crystals sort of provide an X-ray into somebody's well-being. Each crystal, so if I pull up a crystal like this, it's going to tell me something about what's going on for somebody. And this
when you have a virtual screen, put it on your hand so then we can see it better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So each of these crystals is going to tell us different things about somebody. They're going to help us to understand better what's going on, because each crystal has meaning and has significance. And when we put a whole story together, we really get an understanding of what's going on for somebody emotionally and physically, spiritually. It's something, it's actually mind-blowing. And I've been involved in this area for over 10 years, and it's still mind-blowing to me how accurate and correct and how wonderfully the crystals can tell us about somebody's situation, really. It's incredible. In fact, this woman came over last night. She wanted to just come in and choose some crystals. I didn't understand that she was bringing her son with, because he wanted to choose crystals, and that's fine because kids love crystals. And he chose all these different crystals. He had a hard time because she gave him a limit of 4 crystals, which is pretty tough. believe me, well, especially when there are hundreds here. And I didn't show them all the crystals because I didn't want to put him in a situation. And I could see, I said to her, I said, like something is making this little boy sad. He's a sweet kid, but something is making him sad right now. So you sort of like need to check into what's going on for him. And the things that you could see and how we can treat people with them is something that is amazing. And obviously that's what we're learning in the course. We're learning to understand the crystals. We're learning step one, I have to say, step one is going to be going through various Jewish sources just to understand and to appreciate how crystals are something Jewish, okay? Because we actually read the Torah reading the week before last was Parshat Tetzaveh. And in that weekly portion, we discussed what the high priest, the Kohen Gadol, wore, all his different clothing in the Beit HaMikdash, in the temple. And what he was wearing were the 12 Hoshen stones. And that was a very significant and meaningful part of his clothing. And there were commentaries, there are many commentaries that discuss that. And they discuss the significance of the stones, not insofar as the garment, but insofar as what are these stones able to give us? What do they tell us? Let's just say the tribe of Yisachar is represented by the sapphire, sapphire. And this stone represents wisdom and honesty, okay? And it is also good for vision. And Rabbeinu Bachye, a commentary from the 12th century, actually talks about this, okay? And he goes on about all different ones and lots of exciting things just to hear. And then to be able to touch these crystals that they were talking about at the time is like amazing. It's something so special. Okay, I mean, I'm rambling on, sorry.
It's delightful. You've told me things I haven't heard from you before, and I'm even more excited about the course, which is starting very, very soon. Tell us more about what you do in the course. And I know there's 3 modules, and how does one build on the other and what's different?
Okay, terrific. So in the beginning, we need to establish, there are the building blocks. So the first I said building block is the Jewish aspect. Then we need to understand about the energy centers and how they work. And we need to understand what crystals are. So that's all part of the first module. And then an understanding of how we can do assessments. And of course, I really want everybody to appreciate the crystals. So we do, we do exercises with the crystals, okay? We do it online. It's incredible how online we could be doing exercises all together with the crystals and feeling their power. It's something really special. And we experiment, students choose crystals and then we understand a little bit more about them. So like, for example, if you ask me to choose a crystal now, because I'm sitting in Israel and it's midnight here, and I was out of my house by 6:45 a.m., and so I'm pretty exhausted. So I would be choosing this one, which would be the quartz crystal. And so just so that you know, the quartz crystal is a stone that gives us energy. So when you're feeling tired, grab the quartz crystal. It's an amazing energy stone, okay? But if you want to go to sleep at night, don't grab the quartz crystal because it's going to disturb your sleep, okay? So each crystal has a meaning. So we're going to get to understand that. So that's sort of like level 1, then at module 1, and then at module 2, we're going to I didn't even say this, but everybody gets a beautiful box of crystals. I send them all over the world, and what I do is I send 2 of each crystal so that you can study with it, but you could also be using it, having it on your desk, having it near your bedside table, or whatever it is, because there's various prescribed uses for the crystals. So you could be enjoying that as well during the course and making sure your box is complete so you could use it for assessments or whatever we're doing in the classes. So with each module, you get a different set of crystals. So your collection grows, okay, to be really amazing. You get, I don't know, by the end, you've got probably about 80 different crystals. And so we need to study more in depth what the assessments are, because as you have more crystals, you're able to do it more in depth. And it's not so simple to do these assessments. We need to practice and we need to review. And I bring lots of case studies, okay? In particular, in the third level, I bring case studies and we work on it together. And it also, I really like to work with a group. So the last group that I had, they all wanted to do, I lost you, Lily, I can't see you.
I'm here.
Right. So in the last group, people chose, the group wanted to do all the assessments together. They wanted to work together. The previous group, they didn't, people worked in pairs to work on the assessments. So I really, like to see how the flavor of the group and what people like and what's going to work well for each group. I also have a special oil remedy, which I teach people to make, all different things. It's really exciting. And each level we do different exercises, experience different things. And I bring guests on. I don't want to give it all away. It's too exciting. And it's part of the fun is like having the surprise and not knowing what's coming, but knowing that, wow, I'm going to be able to understand what crystals mean for somebody by the end of the course. When they choose the crystals, what is it actually saying? What does it mean? And that's something quite amazing. So at each module, it's one module obviously builds on the next. But there's always, with each module, you come out with something, okay? Some come out with something concrete. But as you know, the more we study, the more we know. And I'm still studying today. Believe me, I'm doing courses all the time. And it's so fascinating and I totally love it.
Tell me, please, I have read some beautiful testimonials on your website, and I know a couple of your students who rave and rave about it. What have some of your students been using their knowledge in order to help people more in the world? How have they been implementing the course materials?
So it's really interesting because people use their knowledge in different ways. So for example, I had one woman, she works in trauma therapy and she asks people to choose crystals, or she chooses crystals because she understands what they need, and she puts them all over and she uses crystals, based on what she studied. She knows which crystals are going to be making the person feel better for their different issues. And she also, by their choice of crystals, she's going to have an understanding of what their physical ailment is based on, because we really believe the effect of our emotions on our physical well-being. That has a strong impact. So that's one. Somebody else has had some in her clinic, and when people come in for for treatment, one-on-one treatment, for counseling or whatever, they offer them crystals and they can hold them, or they can understand what's going on. I certainly know that, for example, for me, I'm a social worker by profession, and I also do counseling. Like, people come to me for assessments, and then I offer them package deals of assessments as well, of counseling and working through different issues. And I have such an understanding of what's going on for them because of the assessment that they've done. So we can really start at a point of, let's get working and let's move forward. And I know, I understand what to do for them because I've seen where it's come from. I've seen what the source is. So you may not, that may not be clear. So
it's clear to me because I also am a coach and a massage therapist practitioner, so I understand that. And perhaps your explanation, I think our readers will understand that when you have a bigger picture and you can see some of the underlying things, that you're able to help them more. And people come from all different backgrounds and different professions. I can see a teacher using it in the classroom.
Unbelievable. I had one special ed teacher who just went to a webinar, and she contacted me afterwards, this woman, and she said, Gila, I need crystals for my kids. And this is a special ed teacher. And she ordered a bunch of crystals, and I sent them over to her in Canada, actually. And she had to call me up once she was seeing that. You can't believe what happened, and you can't believe the difference, and you can't believe how well the kids communicated, and the difference in the child. It was miraculous, she said. And it's, it's just a gift that God has given us. And I really feel it's a big honor. And we say in Hebrew, a zchut, a merit to be able to work with this and to share this knowledge with people. Because it's really a wonderful gift that God has given us. And for some reason, it's not so well known in our circles, though there are circles that know very well. Like in Bnei Brak, for example, which is a very religious suburb in Israel, there are funds where people borrow. People have a fund, and they have in that fund a ruby stone, so that when people are pregnant and they're concerned there's an issue with the pregnancy, they are actually come to this fund and they borrow the ruby for the pregnancy in order to help maintain the pregnancy, okay? And then they return it at the end, and there are a few of these various funds all over, actually, in many places in Israel. So
we have in America also. I was very grateful to have benefited from one, and I shared my ruby with people. Baruch Hashem. Tell me, please, this is very exciting. I know also that some people use it just for their own personal benefit, just to understand more about themselves, correct?
Yeah. Yes. I think I would say they use it more for their own, to enjoy it. Like, I personally can't do an assessment on myself. Okay, I find that difficult. So sometimes I'll go to a colleague and say, okay, what's going on at the moment? I've done that a few times. But what I will do is, like, there are particular crystals that are good for, we call them nature's antibiotics, to build up our immune system. They also happen to be great for our skin. So, my children, my grandchildren, of course, myself, my husband, we all use these crystals. We've been drinking those crystals, the water of the crystals. That's also something that we go through. How do you actually use the crystals? Obviously, we're going to study that in the course as well. So we use them. And I certainly have crystals near my bed to help me sleep better at night. And, for all different purposes. And as I said before, I'm feeling tired. So I've got my quartz crystal in hand. So certainly for my own pleasure. And my house is decorated with crystals everywhere, because I love them, and because I also understand how beneficial the energy is for me and for the household and for the people that come in. So
that's very exciting. Baruch Hashem, you kind of like all-encompassing with the crystals. Baruch Hashem.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Before we go, tell me, please, I know a lot of women right now are very busy preparing for Pesach. And I mentioned to you that participating in the crystals course with you could enhance their Pesach preparations. Tell us how you think that would be so, rather than say, oh no, I'm too busy preparing for Pesach. How could this help them prepare for Pesach?
Okay, so first of all, there are two things. I want to say that my course is actually structured for the Jewish woman. So obviously the week of Pesach, we're not studying. There are going to be 2 classes before Pesach, and then we're going to take a break because, the week and a half before, I understand, everybody wants to be in their kitchen, okay? But by then, we will certainly make sure in the course this year that we're going to have the crystals to keep people alert, because I think Pesach is a time that women work really hard and they need extra energy. The other thing that we need, I believe, is a lot of us need a lot more calm. Okay, it's a time that we could be tense. So we've got crystals. See this guy sitting behind me? Okay, in my background, that's a big, beautiful amethyst there. And that is a stone that gives us calm. So there are a few crystals that give us calm. So yes, for sure, have them around. And maybe for harmony in our marriage, all different things that could bring us happiness and simcha as we go into Pesach, because all the shalosh regalim, we're supposed to be happy. So
I'm just translating the 3 festivals.
Exactly. So it's going to be v'samachta b'chagecha. You should be happy during your festival. So I want everyone to be happy. So, and we could also be more organized. And the truth is, it's 2 hours a week. And I'm not in level 1, which is before Pesach in the first module. We're not doing homework. Okay. We're going to enjoy the classes. We're going to have fun and we're going to learn together. And we're not going to do homework. Okay. It's just not realistic, and it's not necessary. The first module is for us to really enjoy and to understand how incredible these crystals are, and that you can actually play around, use them, and enjoy them.
That's so exciting. I'm thrilled and very, very much looking forward to participating. Is there anything that you would like to tell people before we say goodbye and Lahitraot, see you later?
Look, first of all, I'm really approachable, guys. So if you are interested, okay, or if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Okay. The other thing is, the class is also, everything is on Zoom, and I record it and I send out after each session. I send out a copy, everybody gets a copy. So it happens that people can't make it. So, I remember when I went to university, you didn't make it, you missed it. And to that, you didn't make it, you listened to the recording. So that's readily and easily available. And that's really important. And that's something that you also have. So even if, after the course you want to review, you can welcome, no problem. Your course is there and you can always review it. So I think that that's a really great takeaway. And obviously I'm going to send you notes as well on the email. You're going to have explanations and understanding and lots of tools. I'm going to have a great time, really.
So I want to say thank you. And I want to tell our viewers that one of my favorite things about you is your enthusiasm and your joy when you're sharing the benefits of the crystals.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you for this great opportunity. Thank you to Mikdash Me'at. Thank you so much.
You're so very welcome. Thank you very much for being our guest on Mikdash Me'at Magazing podcast. And we want to say thank you, Gila Slonim. You're www.gilaslonim.com, and they can find out about your courses and your webinars, and they can call you for an assessment or WhatsApp you, somehow type you, all different ways, email.
Yeah. That's it. Go to gilaslonim.com and you'll be able to find me.
Maybe spell it for them so they hear it in your voice. I find that's helpful for me.
GILASLONIM for Mary.com. Okay? gilaslonim.com.
And I hope to see some of you in the crystals course with Gila.
Love to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Gila.
Litraot. Bye.
Litraot, everyone. Bye-bye.